Hi, we're Team Philip from Dongmun High School. Before our presentation, we'll let you know the meaning of our team name. Philip means certainly will be reconstructed. An Chang-ho named his son Philip too. We want you guys to feel the desire that pro-independent activists felt. Then let's get started.
We remember many pro-independent activists. We can never forget their fears, struggles, and sacrifices to achieve independence. However, we have other people to remember too. We know of their existence, but we scarcely know their names, faces, or what they did. They are a pro-Japanese group called 친일파. This pro-Japanese group is made up of people who helped Japan to extort Korea's sovereignty by cooperating with the Japanese invasion. Therefore, this does not include people who are close acquaintances to Japan. They are people who harmed Korean and obstructed the independence movement against the Japanese emperor. Then, many people would wonder why we must remember the traitors. However, in order to avoid repeating the tragic history, we must also know why it hurt. So, we are going to talk about pro-Japanese group that no one remembers but everyone must remember. We'll let you know about these four people named Iwangsu, Kimsung-su, Kim Al-lan, and No Deok-su. Let's take a look together at memory about them.
The first people we are talking about are Iwangsu and Kim Sung-su. Iwangsu is a novelist and famous for writing the February 8 Declaration of Independence and creating independence journal as known as 독립신문. Kim Sung-su also studied how to carry out the meaning of the March 1st independence movement and strengthen his will to free our country by participating in many activities to revive the domestic industry. Then you may wonder about the fact that they are pro-Japanese activists. After the failure of the March 1st independence movement, they became less willing to welcome independence. They all showed their submission to Japan's tyranny by agreeing with Japan's war of aggression. If they didn't change their mind, our independence could be empowered, but rather, our independence was delayed because of such kind of people.
The second people we are talking about are Kim Al-lan and No Deok-su. Kim Al-lan is an anti-educator who forced women to be loyal to Japan during the Japanese colonial period. Educators must clarify what the right values are under the Japanese colonial and why Korea became a colony. However, Kim Al-lan did not. Despite her history of committing anti-ethnic acts, she passed without speaks of a reflection in a lifetime. But we recognize her as the godmother of the female world. This is our reality. Now is the time to ask why this happened. It was the pro-Japanese police that boosted the momentum of these pro-Japanese groups. The most famous person is No Deok-su. He conducted oral and electrical torture to his compatriots and even students. After liberation, he received a medal from the Korean government rather than punishment. For independence activists who were tortured, we must remember No Deok-su.
We just learned about four pro-Japanese group, Iwangsu, Kim Sung-su, Kim Al-lan, and No Deok-su. As we know independence fighters, we know about pro-Japanese group. Now, what do you remember? The joy of getting new knowledge? The shame from the fact that you didn't know pro-Japanese group well? A resolution to know history well in the future? It doesn't matter. If this story remains in your memory, and if one remembers this presentation when they study history of Korea, this presentation is meaningful enough. We will be able to grow up by preparing for the presentation and working with our team members. And we really wanted to share our story with the audience quickly. We think it is worth remembering to look back on the past and sharing with others. The act of extending one's knowledge. It was an honor to have a chance to grow and to discover the true value of the memory. Thank you for being the audience of our passionate and challenging story and remembering our story. The audience's attention will not be forgotten of our memory, and you who don't forget the pro-Japanese group are independent fighter of this era. Thank you for listening. We were Philip.